So SCHD just hit all-time highs. At the time we were recording this, the fund touched a new 52-week peak of 34.24, and it's now beating the S&P 500 by nearly 15 percentage points year to date. The investors who were told in 2023 and 2024 that dividend funds were obsolete are quietly changing their tune a little bit, and right on schedule as well. The question everybody's asking when any investment makes a big run like this has started to appear once again in the comments, right? And YouTube and all over the place. Should we stop dollar cost averaging into SCHD at these levels? And in my opinion, the answer is way more nuanced than a simple yes or no. Okay, so here's where SCHD currently stands at the time of me at least recording this. The fund closed on at 33.89 on July 28th, having touched 34.24 intraday, a new 52-week high. The 52-week range is 26.21 to 34.24. SCHD underwent a 3-for-1 stock split in October of 2024, so the old all-time high of 85.24 translates to approximately $28.41 in today's terms. At 33 to 34, the fund is trading way above its pre-split equivalent all-time high. This is some new territory for SCHD to navigate now. Year-to-date total return as of late July, we'll say, approximately 23-24%. Vanguard's VOO has returned about 9 to 10% over that same period. That's a big gap, approaching 14 percentage points. That's unusually large if you ask me. Most years, SCHD lags the S&P 500 in strong tech-driven bull markets. 2026, as we have seen, has been extremely different. What's driving this? Well, the value and energy sectors inside SCHD, which account for approximately 36% of the funds combined, have significantly outperformed this year. SCHD's sector mix of, we got those consumer defensives at 19.5%, healthcare at almost 19%, and energy at 16.6% has been exactly the right 2026 macro environment. Dividend growth in 2026 has been nearly zero so far. The fund's trailing 12-month yield has compressed from over 3.5% a year ago to approximately 3.1% today, simply because the price has run faster than the dividend. Here's the framework I use when any long-term holding of mine approaches or sets all-time highs and the dollar cost averaging DCA question starts to pop up. The purpose of dollar cost averaging is to remove the timing decision entirely, right? You pick an amount, you buy consistently on a schedule, and over years and years, your average cost reflects the full range of prices, not just the expensive ones. By definition, DCA includes buying at all-time highs. If you only DCA at lows, you're not DCA. You're literally a market timing with just saying a different label. So the real question isn't whether to pause at an all-time high. It's whether anything fundamentally has shifted about SCHD and has changed that would alter our long-term thesis. The price going up isn't a reason to stop. A change in what makes the investment worth holding would be. So what's changed? And more importantly, what hasn't? What's changed here is this. The entry yield has compressed. Someone buying SCHD at $26 last year was getting approximately 4%. All right, someone buying at 34 today is getting approximately 3.1%. The income on a new purchase is lower than it was 12 months ago. But here's what hasn't changed. The underlying business is inside the fund, right? The dividend track record and the Schwab expense ratio of 0.06%. The companies generating cash, right? We got Qualcomm now, Texas Instruments, United Health Group, Merck, Chevron. They're all the same businesses running the same exact operations they always have. The index rules have not changed here. The dividend growth mechanism has not changed at all. Look, the lower yield at current prices obviously is a consideration for someone entering in with some fresh capital, but for someone who has been DCAing for years and years, their existing shares have a much lower cost basis, and those shares are now generating an even higher yield on their original cost that they bought them for, okay? So we got to talk about the dividend growth slowdown because this is the piece that really deserves the most attention. SCHD's first half 2026 dividend growth was 0.08%, essentially flat versus the first half of 2025. The 3-year average growth rate of 8.19% reflects a period that included stronger dividend growth years. 2026 growth rate is currently tracking far below that average. And that slowdown, it could be temporary, just a result of obviously portfolio reconstitution, obviously the market conditions, or the specific companies weighted most heavily in the current quarter. Or it could be a signal of a temporary plateau in the dividend growth. Look, either way, it's worth paying attention to if you invest in this stuff. The long-term thesis depends on the dividend growth, not just, obviously price appreciation, okay? And this is the all-time high psychological trap that we really face, right? And this is the historical reality. All-time highs are not warnings. For most quality index funds, all-time highs are followed on average by more all-time highs. The data on pausing DCA at new highs constantly shows that the investor who stopped buying near highs and just wait for a correction often buy back at even higher prices or never buy back at all, okay? The investors who built SCHD positions did so by buying in 2021, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. Some of those at prices that felt high at the time, but the ones who paused waiting for a pullback back in 22 got it, and many of them still didn't buy because the pullback felt like the beginning of something even worse coming, right? The case for pausing is not that SCHD is on all-time highs. The case for pausing would be if your personal financial situation has changed, if you need the capital for something else in the near term, or if you be putting money to work at a 3.1% yield when you need 4%, for example, for your income plan, right? The case for continuing DCA exists to remove timing decisions for us. Pausing at a high is a timing decision dressed up as prudence. If the 3-year thesis, quality dividend growers, 8% annual dividend growth, compounding through reinvestment hasn't changed, then in my opinion, the process that serves that thesis shouldn't really change for us either. The 2026 outperformance, of course it's real. The compressed yield is real. The minimal dividend growth this year is real and it's of course worth paying attention to. None of those are reasons to abandon a decade-long DCA plan on a fund that has done exactly what it was designed to do. Me personally, I'm continuing to buy weekly. My automatic purchase schedules run regardless of what the price is. I just bought some this morning. I'm watching the dividend growth in the second half of 2026 carefully though. If it continues to track flat versus 2025, that's a data point worth factoring into how I think about the position's trajectory in my future. But a flat year of dividend growth on a fund with a 14-year track record of growth isn't a reason to stop a compounding process, in my opinion. The all-time high is not a signal to abandon. The dividend growth trend is a signal worth watching though. I got some questions for you guys as always down below in the comment section. Number 1, SCHD hitting all-time highs for the first time in its post-split history. Are you continuing your DCA schedule? Are you pausing a little bit or are you adding more on this strength? And number 2, knowing that 2026 first half dividend growth was essentially flat, does that kind of concern you? Does that slow growth concern you about the fund's dividend trajectory? Or do you see this as a temporary blip? Let us know down below in the comments. If you're just getting started with all this stuff, you're definitely going to want to attend the full Ark Options Strategy workshop. It's 90 minutes long. First link in the description. At the end, you get my 15 favorite stocks under $30, my 2 premium calculators, and my full trade log template. That'll be the first link in the description of today's video. Guys, remember, sell options, collect premiums, repeat. I'll see y'all tomorrow.